Hello everyone, I'd like to spend a few minutes with you and give you a rundown of this program called SmartPCFixer. SmartPCFixer is kind of a Swiss Army knife, just packed full of utilities and fixes and scans for your Windows-based computer. I'm going to show you how it works on Windows 7. I apologize if you have XP or something like Vista still. Some of these program options maybe won't be applicable to you, but I think most of us are on Windows 7 now, so this will hopefully help out a bunch of you. Why I was looking for a solution such as this is recently when I went to shut down my computer, everything would disappear, my icons would disappear as if Windows was going to shut down, but my mouse cursor stayed there, and it was like my computer just kind of hung. Nothing would happen, so I would always have to shut it down manually by pressing the button, and that got really tiring because every time I would boot, Windows would say, "Oh, we detected, you didn't shut down properly," and I just got tired of it. I thought, okay, something's wrong. So I did some Googling, I looked for some software, I tried a bunch of free programs. I wasn't too pleased with the results. This was actually a big help to me, so I'm happy to share what I found, and hopefully I can help other people refrain from pulling out their hair, as I unfortunately did with mine. So the cool thing is, SmartPCFixer, once you register it, it costs, I don't know if it's 30 or 50 bucks, but you can install it on up to 3 computers. So this is the second time I've installed it. I have it on my desktop here now for this video. And it's full of errors, so that's cool. I want to show you what that looks like. My laptop is running better. My desktop, well, as you'll see, there's room for improvement. So without further ado, once you click on the link beneath my video here, you'll be brought to this website where you can download the program. Now, I've already downloaded it and installed it, so I'm not going to show you that, but that's pretty easy. Here's what the program looks like after you run it for the first time, and it will actually automatically start a quick scan. Go grab a coffee while that's running, because for me it took a long time. It was like 10-15 minutes, but I do have a couple of larger hard drives full of stuff, so your mileage may vary. It might go quicker for you, but don't be alarmed if it takes 10, 15, 20 minutes even, because it's doing a very thorough job. So the results of my quick scan are as follows. It tells me there's issues in the registry, there's some evidence left behind, there's some quote-unquote junk files, shortcuts, and some file association problems. Now, depending on what your problem is with your computer and why you're looking for a solution such as SmartPCFixer, maybe this information is valid, maybe it's not. So let's talk about real quick what this stuff means. Registry problems, unfortunately, is kind of like the nervous system of Windows. If you have problems there, you could have a number of symptoms, or you could have no symptoms, right? It doesn't mean that 568 problems doesn't mean that my computer is totally unusable right now. It's kind of using that word problem a little, maybe it's a little bit too graphic. But nevertheless, what a registry problem could refer to in this case is if you uninstalled software that didn't do a very good job at cleaning up after itself, it could have left behind some trails, some entries perhaps, and Windows is still going to be processing those, and certainly that could lead to a slowdown if you have hundreds or thousands of these orphaned entries. So it's always a good idea to clean those up if you have a software program that can do so reliably, but I'm going to just mark that. We'll come back to that point, because you always want to back up your registry first before you make any changes. That's a very, very good habit, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Evidence files is relating to things like cookies and your web history and stuff like that. Not a big deal for me. It's might be a big deal for you, but nevertheless, SmartPCFixer is like a jack of all trades. It can clean up so many different things that would normally result you'd have to buy 3 or 4 different programs to do everything this one program does, which is really cool. Junk files is stuff in your recycle bins, things in your temporary folders, again, things that could be taking up a surprisingly large amount of space on your hard drive, which are generally safe to delete, right? Shortcut files that point to nowhere and file association problems. These aren't big deals. It's more just like housekeeping, right? So beyond the quick scan, after you go ahead and let's say you were to fix those up, you can go a little bit deeper and do things individually, right? The quick scan kind of talked about these things already, but you can go and just scan one of those 4 areas in the future if you suspect you'd need to. System Optimize gives you a lot of different options as well. I haven't played with too many of these things yet. I'm still pretty new to the software. However, I did find Startup Optimize to be a very helpful section. Again, that was under System Optimize, and then the startup button. What this does is it helps you to see what programs are being called or loaded when Windows is starting up. Very, very useful. For example, down in your taskbar, you might have a whole collection of icons there, and you might say, geez, I don't like all these things starting when Windows starts. It takes too long. So you can certainly experiment by removing certain things from your startup, and when Windows begins, these programs will not be called to load. So it will significantly, in some cases, improve your boot up time. Very, very cool. The system fix option is kind of a don't go there unless you need to section, in my humble opinion. If you have a specific problem that relates to something that you're seeing here, by all means go ahead and play with it, but I wouldn't go poking around and messing with DLLs. This is more of an advanced feature unless you know what you're doing. However, this is a cool feature. Under System Fix DLL Download, you can search for DLLs that are missing. If a program calls for a DLL and you don't have it installed, you'll receive this pop-up that says, hey, we're missing a file. Well, SmartPCFixer lets you type in the name of the DLL you're missing, hit a search button, and wouldn't you know it, they have a bunch of these DLLs available for you from their server for download. Very cool, because you can trust that they're not going to be infected with a virus and they're going to be legitimate. So I really, really commend them for including that. That is a cool feature. Beyond that, the System Tools menu has a bunch of utilities, excuse me, and I haven't played with all of them. However, I do like the File Splitter and the File Shredder. I'll be using those. File Splitter lets you break up a large file into smaller chunks and then join it again. Useful if you need to transfer a large file between two computers and you don't have a network connection. Again, because you can install this program on more than one computer, it's a very viable solution. And File Shredder lets you obliterate a file so that it can't be unerased or undeleted with special tools. Again, very, very cool to protect your personal information. The backup section, you'll remember when we first started our video together, I said it's always a good idea to back up your registry before you make changes, and you'll see that's an easy to accomplish task with SmartPCFixer. A simple click of the button, you can back it up. I'd recommend maybe putting it on a USB drive. Your registry probably won't be that big, maybe a few hundred megabytes, which will fit on certainly most people's thumb drives. System Restore, favorite backup, folder backup. Again, just kind of a way to preserve your preferences on the computer. Again, very, very cool piece of software. Overall, I'd say SmartPCFixer is definitely worth the money. If you were to go and buy software that does these things separately, and yes, there are software solutions out there that do these things separately and sell very well, you'd spend hundreds of dollars potentially. So it's kind of cool to see it all under one roof. And I highly recommend it. It's done wonders for me. So I hope this video was helpful for you in deciding if the program will be useful for you. Feel free to leave a comment below if you have any questions, and if I can help, I will be happy to. Take care.